How you doing, Ola?
I'm great. I like to be outside. Finally.
I know it don't look that dark on the camera, but it actually is still dark.
Yeah.
Sun ain't even come up yet. We made it all the way down here to the Dead Sea.
Yes.
Gonna make us some coffee to start the day. You don't want coffee, you want tea, right?
Yeah, I want my tea, please.
Ola's still out here with a broken leg. Hey, don't be doing none of that. This is a family channel, woman.
Well, I'm already stepping on it, and I can walk. Here is my crutch. But there's nothing like nature, especially here in Israel. You have all this. You have everything here.
Yeah.
You have from the desert in the south, and you have in the north. Sometimes you have even snow.
I think we just had our first snow.
In Har Hermon.
Yeah, this past week. Hopefully we get a good sunrise. I see a lot of overcast.
Don't look like it.
Don't look like it. But we're doing our best. We're rolling.
Rolling.
Ola said this is a family program. We gotta quit that.
Well, Joel made me some tea.
Yeah, we just had our tea and our coffee. Sun's about ready to come up.
Pretty warm and nice today, huh?
Well, the Dead Sea's been a point of interest for thousands of years. It's always been a lot of things happening around here, and even till today, it's one of the biggest tourist attractions that Israel has. Also, many biblical events took place near and around this area, in this little strip of land. You know, it's definitely a worthwhile video.
One of the wonders.
Yeah, it's one of the wonders of the world.
I like this word.
Wonders. Yeah, like in like when we was in Timna Park, I was in the middle of talking and you walk away, so I was like, "Oh, where you going?" And you're going to find more wonders.
I like this word.
The Dead Sea, well, being a woman, you probably appreciate the Dead Sea's also always been associated with beauty treatments and all that kind of stuff. You know, the mud and the minerals in the sea.
Yeah.
And many other very interesting things that we'll talk about. So stay tuned, and we'll talk about it all. We're waiting for the sun to come up, get you some nice video. Well, as you can see, we're at the Dead Sea. And as you probably already know, the Dead Sea is the lowest place on the face of the earth. There is no other place lower than the Dead Sea. Well, on dry land anyway. You go down in the ocean, you'll find deeper, lower places.
Yeah.
But dry land, this is the lowest place on the face of the earth. Actually, this whole valley, the reason is it sits in a valley that's the lowest place on the face of the earth. And like I've mentioned before in some of the videos in the channel, the fresh lake of the Sea of Galilee is the lowest fresh lake because it sits in the same valley, the lowest fresh lake in the world.
Yeah, you definitely can feel it in your ears when you're going down
Coming down. Yeah, and also the atmospheric pressure here is higher than anywhere in the world because as we know, the lower you get, the larger the atmospheric pressure.
Yeah.
So I guess from here, seeing it's the lowest place on the earth, it's safe to say that everything's uphill from here.
Yeah. I don't know your jokes though.
Okay, well, I tried. Well, to be precise, it's 430 meters below sea level, or about 1,400 feet below sea level. Even though this is the lowest place on the face of the earth, a lot of people don't understand that this salty lake, which is the Dead Sea, is the deepest of its kind, also on the face of the earth. So from here, even though right here it's at the level of the water, you're at the lowest place, it actually goes down another 1,000 feet.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. Well, the water here is about 10 times saltier than the water in the ocean. That's what makes it where you can float.
Yeah, and you feel the salt. When you go inside the water, you feel it on your skin.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's also out of the different types of different places in the world where there are salty lakes, this is the saltiest of its kind. And like we said, it's what makes it where you can float, because the content is so dense that the water here is actually heavier than your body, and your body floats.
Floats, yeah.
Yeah. Well, actually, talking about the salt content, it is so salty here that the content of salt is so high that if you actually taste it, which everyone always does, you shouldn't, but everyone always does.
Yeah.
It just does such a sensory overload on your taste buds that it don't even taste salty. It tastes bitter. I don't know if you've noticed. You know, it's just that salty. It overloads everything. It just short circuits your taste buds.
You cannot put your head inside the water here.
Oh my!
No way, because your nostrils and eyes and mouth,
everything will burn. And another thing, good tip to tell you guys, when and if you do come, if you get in the water, take your jewelry off, your watches off, even your gold, everything, because the salt in this water will eat it up.
Yeah, and men, don't shave.
Yeah, don't shave before you go in. It'll burn, burn, burn. Yeah. And if you have any open sores anywhere, you'll feel it.
Yeah.
Well, we came here in December, and you can tell it's pretty nice weather. Ola's dressed up pretty warm, but it's actually pretty nice weather out here. But in the summertime, the hottest temperatures recorded in Israel is usually right here. It is so hot. So if you do come, bring lots of water and drink lots of water.
It's even hotter here than Eilat?
Usually it is.
Wow.
Because it's lower than Eilat. Obviously, Eilat's at sea level because it's on the Red Sea. And I guess because it's being so much lower and the higher atmospheric pressure, and you're in this little, bubble here or whatever you want to call it, it just makes it so hot here. Now, one thing we also know from history is this place has been, for thousands of years, a place for beauty treatments.
Yes.
For example, the famous Cleopatra, we know all the stories about how she used to get her servants to march her out here from Egypt and to take advantage of all the baths and the mud and the salt and the minerals in the water.
Yeah. If you don't want to buy Dead Sea products, just come here and take a dip in this water. Take the mud, you have it free here. Just drop it on yourself, let it dry. Don't take it off right now,
Yeah.
And then take it off, and your skin is gonna be super.
Well, the water here is so rich with minerals that it doesn't even have the viscosity of water. It doesn't even feel like water. When you run your hands through it and you feel the texture, it actually feels like oil. Yeah, it doesn't even feel like water. That's how rich in minerals it really is. And the black mud that's been in the water for all the thousands of years that it's been here is so saturated with the same minerals that it actually has detoxing effects. You can actually cleanse your body with it and everything. It really is an amazing place here. It really is a wonderful place to come. So if you spend time actually floating in these waters, find a really good, rich black mud. It has to be the black mud. And then come out of the water, rub the mud all over your body, lay out in the sun, basking in the sun until the mud completely dries, and then wash it off. You'll actually leave here with skin rejuvenated and feeling like it did when you was a baby.
Like a baby.
Yeah, it really is. It's amazing stuff. It's amazing thinking about it, how these waters actually have healing powers. People with skin diseases and acne and everything. Psoriasis. And it really does. I mean, people come here and they get healed with these waters.
From all over the world, people come here every.
Yeah, my dad, Jerry Golden, he has all the scars from being burnt alive in the first plane crash he did.
Wow.
Yeah, and he always has sores because his skin is so thin, and he always has sores from scratching and stuff. And he comes here, it's completely healed. So ironically, a place named such as the Dead Sea has rejuvenating features and actually gives life and actually turns the clock back and just makes your skin absolutely beautiful and heals. And so ironically, the Dead Sea actually gives life.
Yeah. It's supposed to be called different name.
Yeah.
The Life Sea.
Yeah, absolutely. The life-giving sea instead of the Dead Sea.
Yeah.
But of course, we know why they call it the Dead Sea, because it's so high in minerals and salt that no fish, no plants, no seaweed, nothing grows in it.
Nothing can survive there,
Yeah. Well, one thing that's interesting to note is the Dead Sea separated by the north and the south. You have the northern section, which is much bigger, and you have the southern section, which is much smaller. The southern section is where we're in right now, where you see this part of the video with the hotel. So the northern section is larger, deeper, and is where you find all your rich mineral mud and everything. The southern section is shallower, smaller, but much cleaner. You have also clearer waters and a lot higher level of minerals and salt content. Well, we can't come to the Dead Sea without talking about this subject. It's a serious subject. You've probably seen it on the internet if you ever looked up anything about the Dead Sea. Usually people use the titles of the Dead Sea is dying and stuff like that. What we're talking about is the new problem in the Dead Sea, which is the sinkholes. Yeah, they're showing up everywhere. They're all over the place. What you see here is a gas station that we used to stop at all the time to gas up on the way to Eilat or down here to the En-Gedi, or this is Highway 90, the longest and main highway of the state of Israel. And right on this highway, going by the Dead Sea, is where you see this big sinkhole that happened right beside the gas station. It happened in 2015.
Yeah.
Just recently, Ola had a woman's trip here to En-Gedi.
Mom's trip.
A mommy's trip to En-Gedi, and they had a big thing about it. And what were they talking about?
They were talking about how they develop, how the sinkholes develop, and what's going on here. So because the Dead Sea is drying every day, every week, because of all the factories that
we take out the water or factories are taking out the water and to take the minerals out of the water to make beauty treatment products.
Yeah, get money, get rich. So so the Dead Sea is drying I think every year is the water line is going back.
Yep.
Drying by more than 1 meter, almost 1.5.
Almost 4 or 5 feet a year.
The water go. So what's going on? The ground used to be with the water, with the salty water, so it have all the salts inside the ground. And now when it's all outside, the floods come in with fresh water, and the fresh water melting the salts inside the ground, underneath the ground, and then there's a space.
A cavity, open cavity,
yeah,
and then becomes a sinkhole. Yeah, because where the Dead Sea used to be was all it was underwater with all the minerals and everything, and then there was a small layer under the water of this earth, and then over thousands of years it accumulated under that layer a very thick, very large layer of minerals and salts. And the water that she's talking about is every winter we have the wadis, we have the valleys that come through the mountain. Through the mountains comes flash floods when it rains up at the top of the mountain from here, and the top of the mountain from here is Jerusalem, and so that's normal. That's always been. But what's changed is because of the receding water. Now this land that wasn't out of the water is now exposed to the sun and is dried up, and then the salt underneath is dried up, and when the fresh water comes, it leaks down in through the dirt, and it dissolves all the minerals and the salts, and it becomes a big cavity.
Yeah, and then the ground is too heavy and starts just sinking in.
Right.
The layer of the ground.
Yeah, and then it was a sinkhole. I actually know a few people who work around here. There's in rescue missions and stuff. They have helicopters and jeeps and stuff. Believe it or not, a lot of people travel around. A lot of Israelis go backpacking around in the desert or not. And Israelis love traveling, and they get lost. As small as this country is, there's lots of places to get lost. I know one of the guys that works at the rescue center here in this part of the country. He was actually a veteran in one of the wars here in Israel, and he was caught captive and stayed for a few years.
Wow.
In Jordan, actually.
Wow, that's crazy.
And so he's back, obviously, I know him. Yeah. But yeah, so this is very serious subject, something worth talking about, worth mentioning if we're here anyway. It really is it's a sad story. It's a true story, but it's a story that needs to be told.
Yeah. So people traveling here and they're getting lost, and some people already fell inside this sinkhole.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Could you imagine driving down this road when that sinkhole happened?
Oh,
My
that was-
goodness.
Yeah. And they evacuated here. There was date palm trees.
A date farm.
Date farm. They even didn't let them to take the trees and relocate them
Yeah, it's
because
too
there's no
dangerous.
time. They just say, okay, you have to leave it all. And the trees obviously died. There's some animals coming and eating from this.
When you walk over there, you can also feel the ground. It's real spongy. It's like a little trampoline.
It feels like unstable. You feel
Yeah, you
like
can feel it's not stable. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, we just wanted to let you know about this in case you didn't know about this. But let's get back to the beautiful part of this video. Well, Ola's still hopping around on her crutches. We got into the northern part of the Dead Sea, and we're going to have another cup of coffee and tea.
Look at this. How amazing is that?
It's a little bit foggy today, but it's still beautiful. Yeah, make us another cup of coffee and tea. See if in the meantime the sun will act right. Maybe get rid of all the haze for us.
That sounds just great. Don't burn it this time.
I burnt it because of you.
You burned it because you was busy with your
With you.
arguing with me.
So this is we're enjoying life doing this, huh?
Yeah.
Can't forget all the people that are in need.
Well,
So many people need so much help.
yes.
It's a blessing to be able to help all the people we feed. It's all because of you guys.
It wasn't my fault last time.
It was your fault.
It wasn't. You were talking to me.
I'm the best coffee cooker.
Well, you burned the last one. There's nothing like coffee in the middle of nowhere.
Yep.
This gas thing, I don't know how it's called. It just tastes different. Everything tastes different. You go out in nature.
Well, if and when you ever do come to the Holy Land here, don't cheat yourself out of this wonderful experience and coming to this Dead Sea and feeling and experiencing the healing powers of the wonderful waters here in this place.
Don't miss it.
Don't miss out on it. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for watching our video, and don't forget to like and subscribe.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Don't forget to join us on thegoldenreport.com and help us in our ministries of feeding the people here in Israel. And until next week, God bless.
Bye-bye.